Yeah.
All right, so Vivian, let's start with you. What do you have on the front page of the
All
local
right.
news?
I have a copy of the Standard newspaper, and on the top page of the Standard newspaper we have tough questions as Linturi claims fertilizer is good. I am sure you are aware of the fertilizer saga that is ongoing at the moment. Now, Agricultural Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi has for the umpteenth time said there is no fake fertilizer in the country. However, he admits that just 3,000 bags were found unsuitable for use. However, farmers, as we all know, tell a different story on that. I don't know what to really take from this, because, you know, the CS has insisted so many times that there is no fake fertilizer. There was no fake fertilizers, you know, being distributed, and there is no fake fertilizer. But as you've heard, he has admitted that 3,000 bags were just not suitable. But farmers are telling a different story. That story is on the Standard. If you want to get to into it, you can find it on page 4 and 5 of the Standard newspaper. And still on the front page of the Standard newspaper, we have why gas will be President Ruto's next East African battlefront. Now, the government is set to block the importation of cooking gas through its borders with Tanzania as it seeks greater oversight in the petroleum sector in a bid to stem illegal refilling. And there's another story right here on the Standard newspaper, and we have this is on matters healthcare and the striking doctors. And on page 2 of the Standard, there are actually 2 stories concerning healthcare, and I'll begin with this first one, where Nyeri governor threatens to sack striking doctors. Now, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga wants counties to be party to fresh negotiations between striking doctors and the national government. Now, Kahiga, remember, he also serves as the Council of Governors Labour Committee chair, and he said that a collective bargaining agreement should be negotiated by the county and the national government. There are I want to quote him, there are 48 governments that have a legal mandate to negotiate their CBAs with existing labor unions. That is what he said. And yeah, according to him, if they won't go back to work, they will be sacked. That is doctors who are in Nyeri County. And still on doctors, are to hold a peaceful march today to push for their demands, and the health workers unions are aggrieved by President William Ruto's stand that the government will not borrow money to pay them. Remember, on Sunday, the president said that we should work with our means. We should live within our means, and there is no money for the doctors. So the unions, including the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, as well as the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, now claim that the government may have decided to wage a silent war against healthcare workers. So they are taking President Ruto's remarks as a silent war. I don't know, Victor, what do you take of this? You know? Okay, we take a short break right now, and then we'll be back to continue with this conversation.
All right, we continue with what's making headlines in our local dailies, and on the Star today, the riddle of billions idling in counties' bank accounts. There's lots of stalled projects and complaints of underfunding paralysis. That story is fleshed out on the second page of the Star newspaper. It's saying billions of shillings are lying in bank accounts of many county governments amid constant uproar by governors over delayed cash releases by the National Treasury. A report by the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu have revealed that many devolved units are holding huge amounts of cash in their accounts at the Central Bank of Kenya and commercial banks. You can read that story in detail on the second page of the Star newspaper. Another story that is making headlines on the front page is who's fooling who in the Ruto-Raila NADCO report. That story is found on page 6 of the Star newspaper. The handling of the National Dialogue Committee report after the approval by both houses of parliament has exposed mistrust, contradictions and doublespeak that unite President William Ruto and opposition chief Raila Odinga. What was initially a unity pact bringing together Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja is slowly developing cracks. You'll find that story fleshed on page 6 of the Star newspaper. All right, tough new rules for school buses to curb road carnage. Transporters of school children must soon obey stringent regulations to reduce deaths on the roads. There's a quote here. We've heard from the Education Ministry of harassment and bullying in school transport systems. The idea is to give parents the comfort of knowing where their child has been picked and dropped and how the vehicle is being operated. Of course, this comes in the midst of road accident that was witnessed last week by in one of the buses of local transporters, and a few students lost their lives. Kenya's population to stagnate as Somalia and Uganda increase. Projections attributed to fall in number of children born to a Kenyan woman. That is a story you will find on the 7th page of the Star newspaper. There's a story here that is making another headlines here. Workers opt for less paying rural jobs to escape expensive city life. According to TIFA, rent, food and transport gobbles close to 80% of income, especially in Nairobi. Now, a poll conducted by TIFA dubbed the Kenyan Reflection of 2023 shows most employees in Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa are willing to take a 20% pay cut to relocate to their native counties as the living cost becomes unbearable. 23% is the average rate of net monthly pay that goes towards rent in Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa. You'll find that story on the 8th page of the Star newspaper. And there's another final story here. It's about government that aims to construct 1,450 digital hubs across the country. And according to the ICT-CS Eliud Owalo, he says, we want the people to get linked to Australia, Singapore and Canada for jobs right from the villages, because the world has become a global village. Victor, what is making headlines on your part?
All right, so let me start with the front page of the Daily Nation. All right, so Musalia to fold ANC in a grand UDA plan. That's on the politics which we've missed today. Musalia to fold ANC in grand UDA plan. The word has it that President Ruto's wish to have Kenya Kwanza parties fold into one political juggernaut ahead of the 2027 political polls appears to be gaining traction, with Mudavadi's Amani National Congress showing keen interest. But the move is likely to ruffle feathers in DP Gachagwa's corner, even as Ford Kenya's rectangular plays hard to get. This is akin to what really happened in the Jubilee, remember? In the Jubilee coalition, where several parties closed shop to form the Jubilee coalition. Is it history repeating itself? All right, so that is what is here. Deputy Gachagua wants only one deputy party leader position in UDA. That is as far as this is concerned. Remember, the party primaries is just around the corner, starting this month. And perhaps this is one of the things that is now pushing Amani National Congress to fold, shop and join the UDA outfit. The UDA is planning to hold its grassroots polls between April 26th and August 24th, to be followed by county and national elections by December. That is what is there. Remember last week, President William Ruto held a UDA meeting at the UDA headquarters here in Nairobi, and that was part of the resolution from the team. Already, a team that will oversee that process already been sworn in, and now so the process is on. All right, why Mudavadi plan to fold ANC will unsettle Gachagua? Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary likely to be handed one of the deputy party leaders' posts in UDA, making him at par with DP. I remember at the beginning of the regime, I had a discussion here with my guest where there was a lot of talk between Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi. And now this conversation is still emanating months or one or so years later. How is it going to ruffle feathers between these two gentlemen? The office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and that of the Deputy President. How is it going to be? 2027 is just not too far away for the politicians. This is something we'll be discussing here on the political arena. So stick around for that. Interesting times ahead, politically speaking. All right, so that is on the Daily Nation. Moving forward, that is Lamu unfazed by Medic's boycott. It's business as usual for health workers in most health facilities. Residents say that they are receiving services as normal, all right? So they are not worried. We must live within our means for economic growth, says Ruto. He was actually speaking yesterday amid doctors' demands for better pay. He reiterated that the government cannot spend money it doesn't have. That was his message over the weekend during a Sunday church service. And yesterday, while in West Pokot, he also said that the government, or as a people, we need to live within our means. But the doctors are also adamant that, hey, we have to get our due. It's around 4.7 billion shillings, but the government has so far released not more than that. Road on scenic route that hides dark secrets. The road accidents that we've been witnessing in the country. And so now the Ministry of Transport, together with the NTSA and the Kenya Police, have come up with a raft of measures that will ensure that school buses and, most importantly, PSVs adhere to the laid down road traffic rules. But I think it boils down to personal responsibility. Okay, that is on the Daily Nation. That's about it. Let me take you through the front page of the People Daily before I take it back to my colleagues. Who is telling the truth? This is what we have on the front page of the People Daily. Who is telling the truth? This is all about the scandal where top leaders speak from both sides of their mouth over fake fertilizer as heads start rolling. A couple of officials at the KEBS have so far been arrested, and better part of yesterday, they were being interrogated by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in as far as this is concerned. We have got the four gentlemen here. You can take a look at what they are talking about on page 4 and 5 of the People Daily. Still on the front page of the People Daily is here. Ruto's plan to deploy military in West Pokot asks Raila Odinga. He spoke yesterday in West Pokot again. He said that in the next 2 days, they will have KDF or military stationed in West Pokot to bring some sense of normalcy, and ordered that schools in that particular area to be reopened next term. But that cannot happen until the military takes their foot literally on the ground in West Pokot and controls the situation. That was another hue and cry from the leaders who were yesterday there and requested the president to do something about it. Those are the men in action. Looks beautiful, right? But the work they do, simchezo. Simchezo. So again, a quick reminder, and a very good one. Look at that photo. The only photo that can appear on the front page of a local daily. It's Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. Oof, mouth-watering. Vivian, moving swiftly.
Kindly.
This is what we have. So, state warns over illicit trade in petrol. Security chiefs come up with strategies to protect critical national assets from terrorist and cyber attacks. This is again on the front page of the People Daily. We can take a look on what you have on the second page of the People Daily very quickly. Let me just take you that. All right. This thing is acting. So, Vivian, perhaps what do you have there?
Yeah, and still looking at what has been highlighted on the Standard newspaper this morning, and we have DJ John Falme and 5 others acquitted of a murder of senior detective. Now, this jockey, John Falme, alongside 5 others, were yesterday acquitted in a case that had linked them to the murder of a senior police officer. Now, the 6 will now be state witnesses. While Alan Ochieng, famously known as Hype Balo, who they had initially been jointly charged with, will face charges of killing Dagoretti Sub-County Criminal Investigative Officer Felix Kintosi. Now, that story has really solicited mixed reactions. If you just check on X, the platform X, people really have mixed reactions concerning that particular story, and it has been fleshed out on page 3 of the Standard. Now, another story right here on the Standard, there's a blogger who was found dead under mysterious circumstances in Kisii. A Kisii-based blogger cum teacher was found at Getembe Estate in Kisii County, and he was found dead. Now, local residents are in shock after his body was found in the area, and they have called for investigations. Now, Kisii County commander has said that the matter is under investigations, and they are just trying to establish whether it was a murder case or it was a case of suicide. Aside from that story, now Ruto Raila seek to avoid mistakes of 2017 and the push for AU top seat. If you can remember well, back in the year 2017, we had a candidate who was aiming at that top seat at the African Union, and that was Amina Mohamed. And they are just trying to look at some of the mistakes they made, where they went wrong, so that it is not repeated this time round as the president pushes Raila Odinga, former prime minister, to clench this top seat to get to succeed the outgoing chairperson, who is Musa Faki. Now, remember back then in 2017, we had the then deputy president, President William Ruto, then the deputy president. He went to so many countries, that is around 10 countries. He visited different countries, then in different African countries to be specific, just to try and rally votes for Amina Mohamed, and we know that she didn't get to clench that to clench that seat. So this time round, they are just trying to look at where they went wrong, so that the mistakes are not repeated this time round, so that we have a candidate from the country taking that top seat, which is the AU chairmanship. And that story is on page 4 of the Standard. Another story that is on the Standard is on, I'm sure you've seen the trending video. There's a trending video that has been making rounds where former cabinet minister, that is Cyrus Jirongo, he was speaking to lawyer PL Lumumba, and he made some allegations. Now, if I may just read what has been written right here on the Standard, a trending video in which former cabinet minister Cyrus Jirongo is heard telling PLO Lumumba about dumping of toxic waste in northern region reignited debate about the matter that has for a long time been linked to cases of cancer in the region. Now, 4 have sued the state over alleged link to toxic waste, and this linking it to cancer cases in the northeastern region. Now, petitioners claim chemicals used during oil exploration between the year 1985 and 1990 could be the cause of the cancers that have been witnessed in the region. And for this matter, we are talking about the northeastern region. Now, the Environment Ministry has, however, said that there is no conclusive findings on this particular matter. That story is on page 8 of the Standard. What else is on your paper, Migwe?
Well, there's a story that I've seen here on page 20 of the Star newspaper, and saying Kenya has been recognized by the United Nations for advancing peace building and conflict management efforts. Efforts to restore and maintain peace are bearing fruits, as 49% of Kenyans perceive the country as peaceful. The statistics were released by a household survey carried out in 2023 by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration during the review of Kenya's peace building architecture in New York. There's also another story here on page 18 that is talking about tourism. Tourism Ministry and counties join forces in coastal tourism revival. The Tourism and Wildlife Ministry has launched the Utalii Fresh campaign in the coastal region with a special focus on attracting foreign Muslim travelers. That story, you will find its details on page 18 of the Star newspaper. There's also one more story here that is of importance, that is talking about persons with disabilities. Persons with disabilities to get free medical services in a new plan. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has announced plans to collaborate with all level 4 and 5 of county hospitals to provide free medical services to persons with disability. That story will be found, or is found, on page 3 of the Star newspaper. All right, Victor, what is happening across borders?
All right, very well. So before you go there, we have that story about the president planning to deploy military in West Pokot, and Ruto now, story said that Ruto courts legal minefield over military deployment. Opposition leader criticizes President Ruto's move to send soldiers to West Pokot, saying that it is unconstitutional. Yesterday, President Ruto ordered that the deployment of the military in the insecurity-prone West Pokot region, where a number of schools have so far been closed due to attacks by the militia. Ruto spoke when he commissioned the Semtech Limited clinker plant in West Pokot. But then, in a quick rejoinder, is now opposition threatening to have that challenged in court. And now there's, because of special circumstances under which the president or the military can be deployed. And Raila now said that the law demands that any such deployment of the military, whether internally or to foreign countries, must be sanctioned by parliament. Questions are being raised about the legality of the president's declaration as per the constitution in Article 241(3), which provides for the procedure for local military deployment in essentially diluting the input of the National Assembly in case the government wants to use the military internally. So that is as far as that's concerned. Let's wait and see. Talk of road carnage. There is an oversight agency which so far have released tough traffic rules. One of them says that according to the National Council on the Administration of Justice, that's NCJ, has issued a new traffic guideline, which among other things refrain police from detaining an offender for minor offenses. It further recommends that traffic police officers can only arrest offenders and or detain offending vehicles in serious offenses such as causing death by dangerous driving, driving under the influence of alcohol, driving a vehicle without insurance, and speeding. So apart, again, there's another new guideline that says that no traffic offender shall be held by police for offenses punishable by a fine only or by imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months. The guidelines on the handling of traffic matters also read in part. And finally, the new direction by the NCAJ also comprises state and national state actors, also maintains that traffic courts shall process payments of fines in open court and that release on reasonable bail or bond conditions, pending charges or trial for all other traffic offenders shall be fast-tracked. So kama umepatikana na karau, umekunywa, you don't have insurance, speeding or dangerous driving causing death, then yes, police officers have that tough new rule for you. But anything that is just bailable, fines, be fined in an open court and you're let go. Okay, very quickly, let's see what we have on the front page across our borders. Let me just refresh that one pretty fast. What we have on the front page of France 24. Yes, there we have it. Europe's top right court to rule on landmark climate change cases. That's on the front page of the France 24. Europe's top right court is Tuesday to decide in 3 separate cases if states are doing enough in the face of global warming in rulings that could force them to do more. But I believe that we need to do more in as far as the issue of climate change and global warming is concerned. That is why we are being advised to plant more trees. Now that it's raining, by the way, Vivian, we need to plant more trees so that in the next 20 years, you look back and say, that is what I did. Absolutely. So the best time to start is now. Right now. Yes. Plant a tree. It's raining. And by the way, now that schools are closed, that's the only thing that you can also do with the children now that schools are in.
It's a great activity,
exactly. I mean,
to engage as a family.
Yeah, let's just plant trees for no reason. Yes. Just plant a tree for no reason. The good thing is you don't have to come and look for it and do something about it every single day. Plant it, just give it some water. Now that it's raining, God is going to take care of it. Yeah. Simple.
Agree.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so on the front page of the BBC, together in wonder, North America awed by total solar eclipse. I asked yesterday, did you see this? You guys told me it was in Canada and in India. I told you I was there, and you didn't believe me. I mean, really? So it was spectacular, though. It was spectacular. It happens once in a lifetime. And so, yes, everybody was out basking to catch a glimpse of that. And just to remind you that we are also here on our social media platform. That is on X. That's on KBC. Our Twitter handle or X handle is verified. No other station or X handle is verified. Ukipata ingine like this one, not verified, then you are lying to yourself. It's verified. A blue tick. Yeah, yours truly there. Right, everything is there. So there we have it. Moving faster, Kenyan YouTube Shorts creators earning up 25%. You get real-time info. Simone, fake fertilizer, Senate committee wants former farmers compensated. That is what we have. Yes, there we have them. I was looking for that photo.
There we have it.
There we have it.
Yes. Yeah. Take a commercial break?
Yes, we take a break on that note. Yeah. With this director, Turudi. What's it? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, taking a break on that note. No, let me come on this side. Then you can see that. Very good. A quick reminder that welcome back actually. Yeah, that you can also download the app of KBC. You're going to get everything, one-stop shop. Everything you need. You need real-time update on what's happening across the world and, of course, within our borders. You can also download that app on Google Play as well as Play Store and get to listen and watch us live. You have got radio services, business news. In as far as that's concerned, we have got our online warriors trying to do everything for you to get a glimpse of that. Of course, for example, we are supporting the manufacturing sector to boost exports, according to President William Ruto. That was April 8th. Yes, so that is what we have here on the front page. Local manufacturing, and the government is rolling out incentives to attract investors to the manufacturing sector, according to President William Ruto. The president said that the goal is to grow the country's manufacturing sector to an ambitious 20% of our GDP by 2030. Vivian, Mike, we have Vision 2030 to achieve. Whether we are there or not, whether we've made milestones or not, but the vision is here with us. We are in 2024, so 6 years to go.
6 years to go.
Yeah, 6 years to go. When we all started this Vision 2030, people thought that tutafika 2030.
It seemed like
2030
it was
Kombali.
too far-fetched,
Too far.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
6 years to come. And then we're taking stock of what have we done, tick, what have we achieved, tick,
Yes.
what have we not achieved, this and that, and then we give ourselves another vision 2060. Hey, how old will you be? Mike, vision 2060.
My friend.
Okay. All right. Very finally, just before I hand you over to my colleagues, and then now on the sports today is going to be 2 matches. Let me just come back here on the front page of today is being Tuesday. Do we have that? No. Let me just refresh that and get you the real one. Haaland, this guy is a terrorist. I don't know. He's terrorizing people in the field. And I don't like him. As an Arsenal supporter, I don't like him. So today we have got some good matches. You can also catch that. We have got Arsenal and Bayern Munich, and that is going to be happening in London. We are hosting these gentlemen. That's the quarterfinals, first leg of the quarterfinals. So you can also take a look at that match. Something also to look out for is Real Madrid versus Manchester City. All this will be happening at the stadium Santiago Bernabeu. So yeah, how is it going to be? Regina said that tutakuwa hapa kesho to take a look at what's going to be the result.
But I would want to ask you, Victor, is there, as an Arsenal fan, is there pressure to maintain your position? Because anything can happen between these matches.
Believe me, we are not under pressure. We are controlling the situation. But the truth of the matter is Arsenal will really want to remain and perhaps maintain where they are. They have really fought. If you look at that squad, they have a very good squad depth.
Yes.
Okay? And the kind of play that Arsenal is exhibiting this time around, perhaps Arteta knows what to do. You remember Arteta was in Arsenal. All right? He was in Arsenal, one of the best teams during the time of Professor Arsene Wenger. So he's actually picked the textbook of Arsene, how Wenger used to do the tiki-taka kind of football in Arsenal. And that is what's actually scoping. All right? And being youthful as he may be, so you can imagine the kind of relationship that he's trying to nurture with the young players. Have you noticed that most of the players in Arsenal, I'm talking about Arsenal here, just to answer you, Mike,
Yes.
they have relatively young players.
Yeah.
And now that is the vision of Arsenal moving forward. I would imagine how it's going to become next season. We are going to beat these guys with
That's
bias
an
and-
Arsenal fan speaking. Please note. Yeah. Biasness.
This is what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do
Go
tonight.
on.
Yeah, but it's going to be mouth-watering. Another game to watch, to be fair, is between Real Madrid and Manchester City. Remember, Manchester City is also fighting to in the English Premier League. They are also top flight. So you would imagine, and Real Madrid is also another good team. So it's going to be a night to celebrate.
I have an observation to, maybe there's a comparison between how people celebrate local sports, especially football, and the way they show passion when it comes to UEFA and such kind of sports.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? Because sometimes when you have a match, the only match that I've seen that garnering enough support within the country is between Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards. Anything or any team beyond that, I don't see much enthusiasm from their supporters. Why is that? Is there some sort of a disparity, Victor? I
think, as they say, that football and politics is local. So let's just come back home.
Yes.
The rivalry, siblings rivalry, the Masemeji derby.
Yeah, Masemeji.
Masemeji, it's never that serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
It started way back when Gor Mahia and FC Leopards started having their foot, you know, in the field. So you'd imagine the years of history, playing together, celebrating together. And that is why those two teams will always, and I repeat, will always attract a lot of supporters, locally speaking.
Yeah.
The kind of revenue that FKF get from that from the Masemeji Derby, not Mashemeji.
It's Masemeji.
Masemeji
Yes.
Derby. The amount of revenue that's being collected during the Masemeji Derby is always something good for the two teams. Whether one team loses or misses a slot in the FKF or in the Premier League, something will always be done to make sure that a team is in the league, all right? Because of the revenue purposes and of course the viewership, when it's being shown on different channels, that is also important. So supporters of these two teams will need something to keep them going. And you'll never miss that. English Premier League and Kenya Premier League are more or less the same. But when you go back, you've asked a question, why English Premier League? It's one of the most active leagues under the sun right now.
Yeah.
Champions League, you know, because of selected few teams from different leagues coming to form the Champions League, that's why it's it comes once in a while, but it's also a very good league to watch. But EPL, we usually have like every week, we have EPL with the team supporting, and EPL is quite unpredictable. Luton is a piga mani vibaya sana.
You have some sort of a vendetta against Man U.
And that's the beauty of the English Premier League.